Hello, hi, and it's me, Trina Kavanagh-Thomas. I am the Body and Mindset Business Coach, and today I am here on the social media switch off with the beautiful Kerry O'Sullivan. What can I say? Because embodiment, tantric coach, energy alignment, and you worked obviously for you worked for a long time. You jumped off the hamster wheel and then found yourself doing reiki, Indian head massage, and doing all these beautiful things, and then until it's all embodied together in something so beautiful as as an embodiment coach for professionals.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about you.
So basically I jumped off the hamster wheel just over 4 years ago now. I can't believe that it's been like that long. It's crazy, because I just, like, every time it comes up on your Facebook anniversary, you're like, how many years? Like, it's crazy. So when I jumped off the hamster wheel, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I just knew that there was something that I had to do that was bigger than what I was doing. And I loved my job in media, and it was very busy, fast paced. But I never realised that I was kind of in this hamster wheel all the time. I never really was connected to myself deeply. So after a very long story short, when I jumped off the hamster wheel and actually went into kind of doing nothing as opposed to what I was doing before, things started to come up in me. Like, things started to come to the surface of the stuff that I was kind of ignoring, and I really did feel like that moment where I left my job was literally the start of the most amazing journey of self-discovery. But it took, like, I had to go through some massive roller coasters, to get to where I am today, of like points where I just wanted to run away from the stuff that was coming up, because there was just so many things coming up. And so when I kind of stopped, I went into meditation and started doing, I basically went into being a therapist, a full-time therapist, doing reflexology, reiki, Indian head massage, all that stuff. And I thought that that's what I wanted to do. I thought, I want to help others, I want to transform other people, but in the way that I knew how then, which I thought was amazing then, and it was a really amazing part of my journey. And I did that, and then I was like, as you can see, I'm quite a chatterbox. There I was all day in silence. All my clients were asleep, and my mind was going like the whole time. And I was like, this ain't gonna work, because I don't want to be in silence all day. I want to be talking to the world. So it was like I was trying to find this balance between like being all pling plong holistic, and then thinking like, this ain't gonna work. I need to get out,
And you know what?
So I started, go on.
No, I completely see where you're coming from. I truly know where you're coming from on this, where your mind is like all over the place, but at the same time, you really want to like just zone out and just chill. And it's hard. It's hard.
But I love that engagement with other beings. I love that interaction and communication and connection with other beings. And although a lot of my clients were coming to see me every month, every week, having a treatment, they were totally going off, and getting what they wanted out of that hour. I felt like with a lot of the clients that I saw, that I knew that there was more that I could do. Like, it was almost like they were coming to see me for that hour, getting their kind of piece of healing, but then in between the treatments they weren't really doing much, and they were just coming back and almost getting me to fix them in that hour. And I was like, and there was so much more. And so what would happen at the end of treatments is I would then start talking about all these different things that they could do to help themselves in between, and almost do another treatment just with the talk therapy and the stuff I was doing afterwards. So I was like, something's not quite right here. And they all wanted more of me as well, and I was like, but this isn't, like, I'm not really meeting where they need, but I know there's more. And so that's when I went on and trained in other things, like energy alignment, and then I did tantric massage. And it's a long story as to how I trained in all those things, but they've all now become part of my work. And even the stuff, like you say, that I've done in the past, is all part of like kind of the package and the offerings that I give to people, really, in my experiences. So it's been a journey, but I've loved it. And I think the biggest part of the journey was that I never knew some of the stuff that I was holding on to, how it was impacting my life. So to you know, go into this silence, into this meditation, work on that inner self, which I kind of signed up to these things thinking, you know, oh, it'll be all right. Let's just sign up to a bit of self-development being like a buzzword, not really realizing that I'd have to go through some pretty hard times whilst I had to face my demons, because you know this work ain't easy, is it? Like this stuff comes up and sometimes you just like, go away, I don't want to go there, you know.
It's not the, you know, it's not the easiest stuff. I mean, I wrote about it recently. I locked myself in the car, because I had a complete like anxiety attack. And it brings up stuff. It brings up, you know, it brings up some massive stuff, and it just feels scary at the time when you're in that situation. But then it's knowing
and also
sorry, go on.
I was just going to say facing up to it, like, and actually being like, I knew that I was ready in some ways, because I kind of, you know, everything happens for a reason and all that. I signed up to these courses because I knew that it was time for me to go there, but not necessarily knowing what go there meant. Like I was kind of a bit like, not a bit naive really in terms of what was going to come up, and I'd never ever would have dreamt the things that came up. Like, you know, for me, I had a lot of sexual trauma in my youth growing up and everything, and I had no idea. So there I was, mid to late 30s, and getting all these memories coming up of things that had happened to me in my younger years, and having no idea about them because I'd literally squashed them down all my life. And that was for a while I remember having these things, did this really happen? Is this really me? And I was getting like memories and flashbacks, and for a while I was thinking, this ain't true, and I was like, no, like I couldn't go there. And in the end, when I started to accept it, I realized that no, it was true, and it was just something that I couldn't face, or that back then it was one of those things you just dusted yourself off and got on with life. That's the kind of area that I grew up in. That's what it was like. And it was like, wow. But now I'm just so thankful really for my journey, because now, because of what I've been through in my past and how I've journeyed in the last few years to heal myself and integrate into what, you know, what's come up for me, is now what I do in the world. And I can't even put into words how freaking amazing it feels to do what I do in the world. Like I just feel so blessed. Like every single day, the women that I work with, the couples I work with, I'm just like, wow. I just get blown away. Like this is what I do now. Like from 4 years ago, you know, buying media space for companies, which I loved and thought that was amazing, and now to be doing what I'm doing, I'm like, this is just another level stuff. And and I'm continuing to grow and expand and change and up level, and that just feels so good.
And you know what, I can feel that as well. You know, like when you were just talking about it there, I could just truly feel. And even when I watch your videos, even when I see your posts and stuff, they're just so open. And like you said, you know, because I was saying to you that I had similar, you know, memories, flashbacks come up. Is this true? Is this not true? And then I had the invite to EAM as well. And that's when a lot of stuff came up, and then I started to feel what was going on, and sometimes it's quite difficult for people to come to terms with certain things if they're having memories, because I know there's going to be some women watching this and they may have had memories come up for them, and it's sometimes quite difficult for them to speak to, like, say, family members, because they may not even know anything about it, and then it's sometimes quite difficult, and you do have to accept that and treat it as such. And that's what it was in my case. I've had to accept and treat it as that's what happened. And that's a hard thing to come to.
Yeah. And I found that the more I've shared like my story in speaking gigs or just in my groups, so more I share with the people I work with, the more that I realise that so many people have been through the same. Like there's so many women out there that have never had, like I've had so many people come up to me in talks and say, I've never told anyone this before, or they've worked in a session with me and they said, I've never told anyone this is what I've been carrying for X amount of years. And it's like, and I think the more that women and men and, you know, beings speak out about their experiences, their journey, their life, the things that they struggle with as well, their vulnerable sides, the more that we will become an open world where we can all express our truth and what's really going on, because the more we can do that, the more that we can all support each other, rather than putting on these bloody face masks that we all kind of tend to carry, that we're all like okay, and it's like, no, we're not okay, you know, like, and it's I love writing posts about when I'm not okay. Actually, I never used to, but now I know that every time I write a post about me not being okay, it means that someone else feels like they can be not okay as well. It's almost like just giving each other permission. It's almost like we're all holding each other's hands and supporting each other through all the highs and the lows that life kind of brings us, you know.
Absolutely. You know, especially, you know, talking about certain things that go on within you. I was speaking to someone today and said, you know what, I had therapy through lockdown because it just felt like the right time to have that. Rather than, you know, because sometimes you just need to talk about it and you just need to get it out, and it's not you know, and it's nothing to be ashamed of or anything like that. I think there's a lot of, you know, certain things that go on within life that we feel, you know, ashamed of, and I think that's going to really tap into what we're going to be talking about today, and especially when we're talking about things like sex and you know, and I think you've mentioned, you know, listening to you is so important in terms of setting you free. Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think for me personally, listening was the bit that hurt the most. So actually going in, when I first went into that silence, so when I was working with clients and having treatments, I was having all that silence, which I've never ever been used to. And sometimes when you go into that silence, or you go into a place where you're listening to your mind, it is so noisy and so loud that actually sometimes it can feel a bit overwhelming, because there's so much going on. You just want it to go, I just want it to go away, you know, that kind of feeling that you just want to hide under the duvet. But actually listening, not just to our mind but to our body, is our greatest teacher, because your mind and your body tell you what is actually going on within you, within your energy. You know, what thoughts are happening in your mind, what thoughts are serving you, like what thoughts are making you feel rubbish, what thoughts are making you feel good, what is your body telling you? Like, have you got a constant headache? Are you constantly feeling bloated? Are you constantly feeling lethargic, or your throat feels sore? You know, your body and your mind are telling you all the time the things you need to get to go to a place of like complete high vibration and good place. They're giving you the signs of the things that they know you need to clear or acknowledge. And sometimes like the listening part is the hardest, especially if you're someone that's on the hamster wheel, especially if you're someone that's constantly going. And I know, like, I used to sing the R. Kelly song, and I sang it in a choir recently, and it was like, silence can seem so loud, and it's like, it really does feel so loud, but know that the more that you stop and listen, the more the mind will start to settle, and things will start to kind of like, you'll kind of work through the noise into a place of serenity. And why I say that kind of listening sets you free is because that is the kind of pathway almost into what you need to get you to a place that you truly live your authentic self, but also the life that you truly desire to live, as opposed to a life that you think you should live. Or because for many people, like many of my clients, they never stop. When I say when I first start working with people, I often say to them, no, give yourself five minutes twice a day. Put an alarm on your phone, turn your phone off, airplane mode, sit there, just take a breath and just listen. And so this isn't meditation. This isn't about you trying to silence the mind. So quite often I think people get themselves in a bit of a pickle about, oh, meditation means you've just got to think nothing. Well, actually, like it's different with the types of meditation, because sometimes your mind needs to like get out what's in there for you to be able to settle in. So actually listening and acknowledging helps you get to a place where you may be able to then go into silence of complete kind of inwardness. But at first it might need a bit of like sorting out and a bit of time and space just to calm down so you can really see what's underneath. And sometimes when you're in that kind of overwhelmed state, there's so much going on, but actually when you start to acknowledge and listen to each of those faults, you get to what's really underneath, what that real fault is, or that thing that you need to listen to.
And that, you know what, that's a really great tip as well, because sometimes where the faults do become so apparent to people, a lot of people then try and do something else, correct something else. I need to go do this, or that, and then it becomes suppression.
Or sign up to another course. This is because I used to be a course junkie. It's like I finished this course now. I'm gonna sign up to another course, because if I sign up to another course, I've got to learn more, which means I've still not got to listen to myself. I'm just going to keep doing stuff, signing up to things, going out, doing stuff all the time. And I think that's why lockdown has brought up so much in others, because so much in everyone, because we've gone from having our life however our life was to our life being kind of stripped back and simplified. So all of a sudden it's like, and I think that's why I've been so busy. I've had like an amazing, like, business wise throughout lockdown, because it's like all of a sudden all those people that have always wanted to work with me are now going, I need you now. I'm now listening to what's going on. Yeah,
because obviously there's been a lot of silence away from everything. There's a lot of noise as well, don't you agree, on social media at this moment? There's a lot. I think the noise level has gotten higher on social media, so then couple that with the high noise on social media and your brain like going
all the fear, which is like fear is like the lowest vibration energy. So chuck a bit of fear into the mix with all of that, and that's why people at that point of like, I just want to run away and escape. And this is why we just need to listen even more, and not so actually listening is the first part, because once you've listened, acknowledgement is the next part of it. Acknowledgement, and then kind of things like journaling and all that sort of stuff is so important, because like so much goes on, like when you like, especially in relationships stuff, you have arguments with your partner about something ridiculous that's got nothing to do with the washing up, and then you realize that actually what it's got to do with is that you're feeling really unloved and you just want someone to hug you or something. So there's always more to everything. So it's about you keep listening, understanding, and asking yourself, like, what's really going on? Like, what's really going on here? Not like the surface excuse. I mean, what's really going on? And the more you listen, the more you acknowledge and kind of meet yourself in all of the parts of yourself, the more you're going to understand what's there.
It's almost like the iceberg, isn't it? So when you said, the surface level, the top of the iceberg, and then underneath you've got this big powering thing underneath, and sometimes we don't kind of we don't look at those bits, the bits that are lower down. So what does sexual energy have to do with this, and being more than sex itself?
So when I talk to a lot of people about the fact that I work with sexual energy, the first thing that people think is just about me having sex with myself or with someone else, and that's how you access sexual energy. Well, sexual energy is like, yes, it can be activated and met through sex with yourself or with another person, but sexual energy is in your body, living, breathing, powerfulness in there all the time. And you can connect to that energy through energetically without even touching your body. And your sexual energy kind of lives in the base of you. So kind of, it obviously lives in the sex, in your kind of sexual genitals area. But there's so much, like, sexual energy is your life force energy. Like, that's how you were birthed. That's how you were brought into the world. It's also, when you use that energy, that powerful life force energy, it can connect you into, what it is that you want to manifest out of your life, what it is that you truly desire. Like, it's all there, ready to be accessed, and it really connects you to your creative side, to part of you that's like alive, but it also has amazing, and this has been a huge part of my journey, amazing healing powers, because it's so connected with life. And because when you get to a place of complete surrender, where you're really truly connected into this energy, what happens with your body is it just lets go. It starts to let go. And because your vibration is lifting higher, you're connecting into that powerful force, you're connected into an energy that's not necessarily your everyday energy. And when you're in that place of kind of increased consciousness, you're kind of connected more to consciousness, to source, to the universe, whatever it is you believe in. But when you're in that place of almost complete bliss and connection, and that can be done through breath work, that can be done through like energetic work, it can be done through self-pleasuring. But when you're there, what happens is you don't have that ego, you don't have that head energy in the way, and your body starts to just let go and surrender. And that's when some beautiful magic can happen.
And
so
that's
it's definitely
so
more
beautiful.
than sex.
Yeah, and you know what, I completely agree with you, because when you came into Spiritual Junkies, if no one knows about Spiritual Junkies, have a look on Facebook, amazing group. But I remember being in there, and you did something in there, and I got so much from that. So Kerry did a beautiful, beautiful healing, and I'm going to say it's healing because it was healing. It was just so wonderful. But a lot of stuff came up to begin with as well. I could feel like stuff coming up, that then connected me to what we were actually talking about at the beginning, where you feel like, you went through someone raping you, and that those words were coming up out of me, and then all of a sudden this beautiful energy came up, this really nice energy, a really kind of, I don't know, it was just, I felt safe, I felt warm, I felt loving, I felt love, but I also felt passionate as well. I felt really passionate, and just, I felt alive. I felt really alive. And I didn't think that by doing something like that, I knew that when you were doing that session, I thought, okay, I let go, I surrender, I'll just do whatever, and I just
to whatever whatever happens.
Whatever happens. And there was some, as we mentioned at the beginning, you have those highs, and then you have highs, and then you have lows, and some of the stuff actually came out as well at the same time, what I wanted to say. And the first words that came out of my mouth was like, help me, help me, help me. And after a while, just letting those words kind of like seep out and come out, were then these lovely words like, yes. And it was just so beautiful, and so powerful, so powerful. I never felt anything like that before, and I know a lot of people, may watch this and go, oh my gosh, because but don't ever knock anything until you've tried something, because what Kerry does is just so magical. I'm sorry, you've done something so amazing for me. Honestly, I did, and I could feel it now. I had tears, bloody tears, because it was just so, it was so so letting go of something. I
think I was going to say thank you for sharing that. I was going to say that the beauty of this work, though, is that it's not me doing anything. Actually, like when I facilitate these journeys, I call them like activations, healings. When I facilitate these journeys, it's giving yourself that space to listen and to be with your body and to be with what's there all the time. It's just whether you give yourself the space to listen. And in those types of journey, because we create like this bubble of like safety and space, it's about, I think it's almost like you give yourself that permission to feel. And sometimes the feeling part is, as hard as the listening. you know, to feel something. So the whole journey of embodiment, and I kind of talk a lot about tantric embodiment now, or, you know, sexual energy embodiment and feeling, because quite often, even with emotions like anger and frustration, quite often we're telling ourselves not to feel those emotions.
Yeah.
Let's not feel those emotions because they're wrong in some way. Or actually, sometimes your body needs to feel into those emotions and actually express that through your body in some way. Feel into the emotions that hurt, because when you feel into them, that energy then can move through you and move through your body. And when you connect into that powerful energy that you have in your sex, that kind of, that charge, that life force gives you that kind of knowing and trust that you have this, in you, to be able to feel this, to be able to let go. And it's a process. So sometimes people come on these journeys with me, and like people that are in my programs and stuff, they start at the beginning and they're like, I don't feel anything, I'm numb, nothing's happening to me. But what they don't realize is that nothingness is actually something, is beautiful,
Absolutely.
is part of who they are, because the numbness and the protection and the layers of stuff that's in our bodies, is part of us too. And we have to learn to accept that numbness is part of us, because it's been trying to protect us from whatever else that could have happened in your life or where you are right now. It's part of us. So when we stop resisting that something isn't happening, or we stop buying into the fact that you're trying to have the same journey as someone else,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
stop trying to compare yourself to others, you can then just go, okay, this is what's happening within me, and it's okay because this is my
yeah.
experience,
And
and it's not
everyone's
about who
experience.
else. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
everyone's
And so often
experience
I
is
was
different.
numb.
Yeah,
Yeah, at the beginning of my journey, I was numb for a long time, because I never wanted to feel. And then
yeah,
little things started to happen, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel something. And I remember doing this huge process around myself of having to almost tell the numb part of myself, and this kind of protective layer that I had around my middle, that it was okay, that I felt like I was okay to move on without that protection anymore, that it was okay because I felt like I was strong enough now, and to thank that part of myself for holding me close for so long and protecting me, but I felt like I now was ready to feel. And sometimes we just have to say those words to
yeah.
ourselves, that I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm ready, you know, that, oh, there's just, these experiences, that's what it's all about, giving yourself that time to speak, and your body to speak, your mind to speak, every part of you to speak and express itself.
And this
I get
is,
quite excited about this stuff.
but this is, you know, this is so different. This is so different now to what we get brought up with when we're, you know, from going through school, the type of sex education that we receive.
Yeah,
We're not taught anything like this, and anything like this then is seen as something different. You know, is seen as something different, and then if it's something different, then there must be an issue or something. Whereas there's not. You know, if I look at how I was sexually as a teenager to how I am now, there is a massive difference. There is a difference, because the things that I wanted then were what I thought that I wanted, which would be what society would have, you know,
exactly. Or what
gets,
everyone else was doing, or
yeah, which gets put
yeah,
from society. Then you don't listen to your intuition and go with what, you know, go with the flow of what you actually want during that time. And going with the flow of what you actually want gives you something like quite amazing. But at that time you went with what you kind of saw and what you kind of felt you knew, and what you kind of saw and what you kind of felt you knew are completely different to what you kind of feel and what you kind of experience in the end. And I'm sure there's going to be some women who are watching this who might actually relate to a lot of this, because
yeah,
it's different. It is different. And as I was saying to you before we came on, you know, I'm still going through my, you know, I'm going through my ever-changing journey, and it's a great one. I'm really grateful for it. And especially when it comes down to this as well, especially when it comes to sex, is that, you know, even my journey is, you know, is still ongoing. It's ever-changing, and learning to communicate as well. Learning to communicate, learning to say what you want, learning to
Yeah.
express what you want, learning to express what you don't want, what you don't like, and being
Yeah.
quite, you know, brave in saying that, and allowing then the other person to say what they feel as well, and also then taking time out for you. I think that's really, I think
Yeah.
that
I
that's
think when we like, sorry, I was
no,
just
no, no,
going to say,
go
I think that
on.
when we accept that our journey is going to ever evolve and change, and that
Until you
we're, because
die.
as beings we change, the more that we change, the more that our relationship dynamics will change, the more that we then move on and we evolve. Like I used to kind of have this real thing about, oh, I'm done now with this part of me, like I'm fixed, and there's no such thing as being
Not,
fixed. It's a constant thing. And so that's why I think when I had these clients coming to me for this like 1 hour slot, thinking that was going to sort them out and that was it, they'd be able to move on with their life. And it's like, I think when you accept that there's no such thing as being fixed and we're just constantly going to evolve, and what happens is the more tools and the more practices you learn to listen, acknowledge and embrace who you are, the more you can move through these things quicker until the next thing comes up. Like stuff comes up all the bloody time for me. Like it's and the more aware I've become, and the more in tune that I've become, and the more energetic I've become, and the more spiritual I've become, everything is just creating more stuff to come my way. And that's just the
because
way
you know
it
you could
is.
deal
And
with
I
it.
actually
That's
quite
why.
enjoy it.
It's
Yeah,
because
but
you
life
know
would
that you
be
could deal.
pretty
It knows that
boring
you could
without
deal
it.
with it. So we'll just chuck more stuff at you because we know that you could deal with it.
Yeah.
And it's
I
you
quite
know,
enjoy it now.
but it's ongoing. It is ongoing, and it's ongoing
Yeah.
until you die. And that's it. It's
Yeah.
ongoing until you die. So you'll always
Yeah.
go. You know, you'll always keep going on.
Well, then it goes on after that, if you believe in that. It keeps
Yeah,
going.
carry
It's just
on to the next
evolving. We're
life.
energetic beings forever. Yeah.
You know, to the next life, and then connect. You know, whether that person then connects to, you know, to who they are, and you just carry on.
Mm.
The cycle just keeps continuing, and it'll be a beautiful cycle as well. How do you start connecting to your power, so you learn to love and accept who you are?
The quick answer, because I know we ain't got loads of time.
Yeah.
The quick answer is to take so some I'll give you a few pointers. Like,
Yeah, you're doing some amazing
start
things.
start every day by listening to yourself, like making space for that. And if it's like 5 minutes twice a day, or if there's something you could almost diarize, if you're one of these people that like lives by their diary and you think there's no way I've got space for myself in my 24-hour day, know that you absolutely have. Yeah. And if it helps you, diarize the time and put it in, whether it's like 2 minutes 3 times a day, or do it when you're on the toilet. Like, if like every time you go to the toilet, have a check-in with yourself and be like, you know, like, how am I in this moment? What do I need in this moment right now? What is it that I would like right now in this moment? And just almost bringing yourself back to yourself, to the now, and check in with that. And then after you kind of acknowledge what's there, what's going on, and ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? Ask yourself, like, am I able to achieve this right now? So it could be, you know, I want to meet up with a friend for a coffee, or I want to have a phone call with my friend, or I'm missing someone, or I just want a hug, or I want to have a lovely bath tonight. You know, what is that thing that your body is asking for? For me, every time I do it, my body just says massage, because I just love massage. So I'm always going for massages for my body. And every time I go for one, my body's like, thank you. But it's things like that, you know, like when you stop and think, like, what is your body asking? My body literally yearns. It's like, give me touch. Like, my body just loves to be touched, even more so now than ever, after having less touch than I'm used to, you know. And so that's something that I know. And so if you can't meet yourself, this is the important part, I suppose. So if you tell yourself, I can't have a bath tonight because I haven't got time, I can't meet this person because I haven't got time, or there's no space, or then you can start to unpick why, because all of these things are just excuses if you can't put yourself first. So connecting to your power is firstly understanding, where in your life are you losing power, And losing power, quite often we try and blame everybody else or our circumstances, and quite often it's because of ourselves. So
Yeah.
where in your life are you losing power, in yourself or in your circumstance or with other people? Where in your life are you losing that power? And how can you reclaim it back? By listening, acknowledging and accepting and meeting what you really desire. So that's you can do a lot with that. Like, that's something you can play with now to understand. Yeah,
It depends on, like, that then comes down to responsibility. Taking responsibility of yourself, and that is
absolutely.
really,
Yeah,
is so super important, to take responsibility. Take responsibility of your own health, take responsibility of of the things that are around you. I think what you're saying is just amazing, and I just want to say
yeah.
thank you. Where does everyone find you? Tell us where you
Well,
find
I was
you.
going to say, because I've actually got a free 5 days starting next week called Reclaim Your Power and Be You, and it's a 5-day journey. So that you'll come on with me, and I will lead you through all different practices where you can reclaim your power and let go of the stuff that isn't serving you. So I can give you that link for people to sign up to that, and they'll get access
Brilliant.
to my group and everything. And obviously you can find me on Facebook, Kerry O'Sullivan.
So
But if I pop you that link, then you can share that with the video or something, and so people can
yeah, I
sign up if
will.
they want
I'll
to.
share all your links. So send me your website address as
Yeah,
well. So we'll share them
yeah,
above.
yeah. I'll
And
share
don't
it
forget to
all.
click subscribe, because this is just amazing. It's definitely worth it. You just tune in now to go back and go listen to it, because there'll be something in there. There's always something. Even there's stuff in here for me as well. So there's always stuff for all of us. So yeah, thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for being here today. I know you're short
No
on time and
worries. I
stuff. And
love chatting to you. I love chatting to you, my
you know
darling.
what? I have to say, because we've done a video together before, and I've got to say, I mean, I've seen your journey. I've seen a lot of your journey as well, and you have come so far, and yeah, it's just so beautiful, ever evolving and beautiful. Can you show everyone your drum, please? Because I just think
Oh
it's
yeah.
so beautiful.
So I've just received my first shamanic drum today, and I've been wanting to get a shamanic drum for some time, and so I bought myself, because I run like a goddess awakening program, so I wanted to get a goddess drum. So I've got myself a goddess shamanic drum. So here's my goddess in the middle with the rose quartz, and I'll just play a little bit. I'll just play a couple
Yeah,
of drum beats for you. So it's so
I
alive.
can feel that.
Oh yeah, reclaim your power. Oh yes. Connect to your goddess. Connect to your sexual energy. Oh yeah. Connect to you.
I can feel that, just energy. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna have so much fun with that.
That is so beautiful as well. And what a beautiful handmade as well. You can tell that there's a lot
Totally,
of
yeah.
energy that's gone into that. So I just want to thank you for being here
Yeah.
today. Thank you.
Thank you, darling.
So this will
Oh,
go out on Friday at 12:30, like every week. So come and join us for the social media switch
yeah.
off. Things that you can do where you take some time away from social media, or even just away from your phone, and just having time to yourself, for you. So this is me, Trina Kavanagh-Thomas, with Kerry O'Sullivan. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll pause that.